Man, you need to stop deadlifting like that. Hey guys, today I'm gonna give you some deadlift tips to help you perfect your lift with some help from an elite powerlifter and elite weightlifter. This is a deadlift tutorial.
Get up and get down, get up and get down.
If you want to deadlift with perfect technique, you need to focus first on fixing your upper body. Here's some tips from Matt Winning to perfect this aspect.
Hey guys, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on fixing from here to here and try to get all this stuff straightened out so that we can start the deadlift correctly. The more he has issues here, the more pressure he's gonna put down low in the wrong spot. So what we're gonna do is he's gonna actually bring his feet in right under his hips. So he's gonna come in narrower. So he's gonna come in narrower this way. Now what he's gonna do is he's gonna reach down and grab the bar just like he did the time you saw there. Now before he goes, he's gonna push all of this as straight as he can get it. He's gonna lift his head and look a little bit more straight ahead, and he's gonna fire the lats first. Locking the lats in first is gonna pull the bar right up against his shins, and it's gonna fix a lot of the problems. Go ahead. Perfect, way better. So now it looks 1,000 times better, and it's probably 3 times stronger. So start your deadlift with your lats, get your head a little bit more upright, and keep this arched. There's less pressure here, more power into your feet. Go ahead and pull one more time. Much better.
Learning to engage the lats properly is a key step for proper deadlifting that most struggle with. Here's a quick drill to perform to learn what proper lat engagement feels like. Take a light monster band loop and attach it to a rack. Hinge with keeping your arms straight and pull your hands to your side. Hold for a few seconds. Holding your arms in this position should bring out some muscular fatigue on the lateral sides of your torso. These are your lats working hard to keep your arms back. As you get set up in your deadlift, think about creating this same sensation in your lats by pulling your shoulder blades back and down, setting them into your back pockets to set your back into a strong and stable position.
What we're gonna do now is fix this. So the first thing he's thinking about, once he's tightened the lats and lifted the head, the first thing he's thinking about is drawing out his knee to his forearm. Exactly. That's gonna force his glute med to turn on, and he's gonna think about pushing his hips forward and trying to drive through his heel as he's pulling back as a lever. So he's gonna come up and he's gonna pull this way to come through by shifting his hips forward and his shoulders back as a lever system. Set it back down. Now think about thrusting the hips forward, pulling the shoulders back. Much better. That's how it's supposed to act, right there. That's gonna give you the most leverage and the biggest amount of strength.
Let's review this last tip briefly about using your hips as a lever system. One of the most common problems we see is the shoulders positioned too far forward in the setup. This will require you to pull up and back on the barbell, which increases the risk of losing low back stability and rounding your low back. This low back movement or energy leak then leads to inefficient lockouts. Rather, use this book analogy I learned from someone you may know as the Deadlift Panda. Set up your shoulders over the barbell and think about your setup like a partially open book. Then anchor your hips and think about opening the book. This combination of cues will help you engage your glutes optimally rather than try to muscle it up with your arms and back. If you want to improve your deadlift technique specific to the Olympic lifts, like your snatch grip, it's very important that you focus on fixing issues that happen below the waist. Here's Olympian Chad Vaughn to tell you more.
All right, so with the snatch specifically, Matt was over here and he fixed your back. It was rounding on that first deadlift, so he kind of gave you some cues and adjusted your position to allow that to straighten out a little bit. One big reason why athletes round with the snatch pulling from the floor is because they're not opening up their knees enough. With a wider grip, you have more room to open those knees. It'll allow you to set the hips down maybe a little bit deeper and lock that back in. So let's take a look at that. All right, bring your feet in just a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and bend down and grab the bar with the snatch grip. Good, okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and set your hips, look straight ahead for me. Okay, come a little further forward, bar in, hips down, hips down. Okay, so we've got a little bit of space left that he can open up and flare and really push those knees out even more. Try to arch, 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 arch. There we go. All right, and we're gonna go with that for the snatch.
Here's another good visual on the differences between the conventional, clean, and snatch deadlift, showing the wider knee position for the snatch as Chad just demonstrated. Now for the powerlifter, the end of the lift is in the standing position. However, for the Olympic lifter, the endpoints are in the standing position with the bar overhead. For the snatch, this happens in one motion. This context will require a few differences within the deadlift compared to the conventional deadlift technique that Matt showed earlier used by powerlifters. For example, an Olympic lifter will usually have a slightly arched or flat back versus a slightly rounded upper back used in a relatively heavier conventional deadlift. There will also be a difference in hip height. Notice how much higher Matt's hips are compared to Chad's. The hips are higher in the conventional deadlift versus the Olympic lift clean or snatch deadlift because the hands are more narrow than in the clean and for sure in the wider grip snatch, making the arms longer and rising the rest of the body higher.
All right, guys, that's it for today's deadlift tutorial. Be sure to go head over and follow Matt and Chad on their YouTube and on their Instagram pages. I'll link them below in the show notes. Until next time, guys, happy deadlifting.
They say that energy flows where attention goes, so I pay no mind. Why waste my time with all these negative cats scratching? So caught up in their egos, these people have lost.